You know what I love? I love it when people read something you write or they hear something you say and they make assumptions that are completely wrong. It's so funny because I've had some tweets up out there and in Twitterland out there the last couple of days, and I always get one of those replies where someone's like, "Oh, oh you boomer, you didn't even read the article," thinking they're making a good point. And then they don't. It's just because they have no idea what I was talking about. So they just, you couldn't have read the article because that point doesn't make sense to me because I don't understand the words you used. But this one notification, it's gotten my craw a little bit because yesterday my buddy Fain was chirping at Tyler Preston. Now Tyler Preston saw that article about the okay hand gesture, and he tried to chirp at Fain, which this was kind of dumb anyway, because he said, well, but Fain told everybody that PC culture doesn't exist. This whole okay hand gesture thing, really, despite what I'm about to read you, has nothing to do with PC culture. What it has to do with is a moral panic. And if you don't know what a moral panic is, here, let me just pull up the definition real quick. This is a very truncated definition, but a moral panic is, here we go, let me put this on full screen. A moral panic is a semi-spontaneous or media-generated mass movement based on the perception that an individual, community, or culture is dangerously deviant and poses a menace to a society, a public outcry. Now that's a pretty light way to put it. Here's a better one. A moral panic is a widespread fear, most often an irrational one. That's the important part about it. An irrational one. That someone or something is a threat to the values, safety, and interests of the community or society at large. Typically, a moral panic is perpetuated by news media, fueled by politicians, and often results in the passage of new laws or policies that target the source of the panic. And my personal opinion, now people don't necessarily agree with me on this, but a lot of this stuff regarding these white nationalists and white supremacists, all these people that the media keeps pushing out there, I consider that a bit of a moral panic. Not that those people cannot be dangerous. Clearly they can. But I think there is an agenda that is asking us to believe that this is something new. It's something growing exponentially, which it is not. Is it being pointed out exponentially? Absolutely. And that's part of the problem. It's kind of like with that FBI report. Remember, everyone uses that one FBI report that says that there's been an increase in the reporting of hate crimes by 17%. Oh my gosh, we should be terrified, right? But then you look at the report and the FBI even themselves say, well, wait, hold it. The increase in reporting is most likely due to the fact that we have about 1,100 new agencies that are in our reporting system that weren't there before. So if there's 1,100 new agencies that sign up, of course there's going to be an increase in the number of reported hate crimes. So that is a moral panic, telling you, the media is telling you there's a 17% increase in hate crimes, and all of the extremist-related murders in 2018 were right-wing extremist murders. Holy shit, we have an epidemic of right-wing extremist murders. But then you look at the report that the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, ADL, the same group that did this OK hand sign report, you look at the report itself, which I did read. Very few people who saw that headline went through the article and found the report itself and then went into the report and read the report top to bottom. When we read that report, we find out that, wait a minute, right-wing extremist murders, so that should be something that is an ideological crime based on this report, right? But no. By saying 100% of extremist murders, well, how many extremist murders is that? How many is it? How many incidents? Because, wow, that sounds like an epidemic. Well, they have 18 examples for that year where 50 people died, which is terrible. Don't get me wrong. That's terrible. That's awful. No one should be dying from an extremist murder, right? But 50 up from 35 the year before, in a year when there's 15,538 murders in the country. Plus, of those 18 incidents that they give you examples of, only 4 of the examples are clearly ideological incidents, and the rest are things that are totally unrelated to their ideology, but there was a murder. So now there's 3 of them that were ambiguous, out of 17. So 4 out of 17 of the incidents that they note in the report where they're saying 100% of the ideological killings in 2018, 100% were right-wing extremists. The worst example in that set was the guy who had been in prison, okay? So he had been in a prison gang, because in prisons, some prisons, they tend to segregate themselves, and in order for the white guys to take care of themselves, they have to join the white prison gang, and the black guys have to join the black prison gang, and the Hispanic guys have to join the Hispanic prison gang, and they, just to protect each other. So he was in a prison gang, right? A white prison gang. He and his wife either accidentally or intentionally killed their son and tried to hide it by burying him in the yard. And then when they left, people found out that this dead child was buried in the yard, and so this guy got arrested for murder. And that was considered a right-wing extremist murder. That was one of the ones they counted. There's several, and several of the examples are like that. There's a guy who was, he and a guy at a garage who was fixing his car, they were having a dispute, and he murdered the guy. Nothing to do with right-wing extremism, but he had in his social media hints that he might be part of the of a white supremacist group. That was considered a right-wing extremist murder that had nothing to do with the ideology that he had. So yes, I do read, when I see articles like this, the Moral Panic, here's the article about the OK hand sign. Not only did I read the article, I read the linked articles, and I read the article from 2017 where the same ADL put out a report that said, no, the OK hand sign is not a right-wing extremist symbol. So those are examples of moral panic. The media is trying to tell you, and with the help of the ADL, who puts out a report specifically to generate headlines. Clearly, if you're going to put a report, you're going to send out this press release to the media, it generates the headlines, and then the politicians and the people on the left and the people on the right and everyone in the middle and everywhere in between read those headlines and go, oh my God, 100% of the 100% of the murders in 2018 of an extremist nature were by right-wing extremists. Hold on. So there's 15,000 some murders that year, and you're saying that these 17 incidents, which again, 4 of them were only clearly ideologically driven, out of 15,000 murders, you're saying that no one else who killed somebody had some interesting extremism things in their head? Were there anyone from a Hispanic prison gang that killed anybody? Was there anyone from a black prison gang that killed anybody? Do you know anything about what their extremist views and background are? How many of the people who murdered somebody in 2018 were Democrats? I would say a vast majority of the people who commit murder are Democrats. Is that going to be a headline? 90% of the murders in 2018 were done by people who are Democrats or lean to the left of the political spectrum. What a headline that would be. Should we be fearing Democrats now? I think that's an epidemic. There's an epidemic of Democrats killing people. So Tyler puts this out. But Fain told... Now, I don't know why he decided to dig at Fain. It is unnecessary. But Fain has been on Twitter, talking about everything you don't like is PC culture. Yeah, that's one of his things. So Fain comes back, everything, and there it is. Quote, everything I don't like is PC culture. Stop being lazy, Tyler. Just come out and say you want your dog whistles to be safe from criticism. Oh, that's cute. I'm sure Tyler, the young black man, wants to make sure that he dogs whistles the white supremacists, but that's that goes back to the internet skeptic days from a few years ago. So that's whatever. I get where he's going there, and I like Fain. Fain just likes to poke people on the internet. It's kind of fun to watch him, even though I don't You know, he's a buddy of mine. I enjoy his humor anyway, but he's just being the now he's turned in from the right wing shitlord to the left wing shitlord. Well, he was never a right wing shitlord. He was just kind of a shitlord, but now he's much more PC about his shitlordness, or at least more progressively friendly lordness, whatever. Wait, real quick. Super chat from C. Thomas. Thank you for the $2, sir. Trust nothing the ADL says. They're full of shit, and there are infamous defamers. This fake panic over right-wing extremists has taught me to never take this shit seriously ever again. Fuck all these security supplants freedom cunts. I agree. Now, the ADL does have a very, very legitimate history. Okay, they were, a lot of it, their origins were fighting anti-Semitism. The Anti-Defamation League was mostly a Jewish organization at the time, although now they've kind of expanded to all forms of hate because, you know what? Here's the thing. If you become the champion, if you become a organization that is constantly looked to for weeding out hate and showing where hate is, you can raise a lot of money too. It's a self-perpetuating grievance grifter organization, although I can't say everything they do is wrong. But if hate went away, we wouldn't need them anymore, right? If they admit that, you know, the number of hate crimes compared to 20 years ago or 10 years ago is way down, which in fact it is, they would not have purpose, and so you can't raise money. And it's fundraising season for these kind of organizations. They always have their own fundraising. So if they put press releases that have this sensational headline about the OK sign now being white supremacist, not only does it create the moral panic because whatever, but who's the solution to the moral panic? Oh, it's the ADL. That's how they do it. So now well, of course, we should make sure we give money to this organization because they're the one taking care of this moral panic. And so I just laughed because he likes to call people boomers. So I made a little joke about, talk about boomers taking the ADL as gospel. But you're kind of right. But this is not about PC culture. This OK sign thing's not about PC culture. It's about CNN trying to create moral panic. Okay, they by constantly putting articles about this. Again, you know what? I've never had to run from the Ku Klux Klan, right? Sorry. The prevalence of these groups is so overblown. But guess what? They can surely tell you about Charlottesville and Dylan Roof, right? they'll bring those up. Well, what about Charlottesville? What about Dylan Roof? Okay. Yeah, those are terrible events that happen. Is that the only thing that happened in Charlottesville was that one girl died with the car? Or were there, all kinds of altercations in that area at the time? Now that was absolutely the worst one. God rest her soul. And it doesn't matter if you don't think she died by getting hit by the car. That doesn't matter. She died. And she didn't need to die. All right? So then this amethyst, neon amethyst with, let's see, she, her, pun master, writer, and sub-amateur. Oh, by the way, stop. Before I even go on any farther, please do not contact these people. And especially I don't want you contacting people that I talk about on this show. All right. I don't want anyone dogpiled. I don't want anyone getting heat. If you have something constructive, I don't care, but I don't want, you know what? I do not do this so that someone will go out and harass this person. I do not want to harass. So she puts, totally PC culture. Talk about fucking boomers. None of you read any of the articles linked. Oh, contraire, mon frere. But thankfully, rather than me have to go back into the article to point out why I said this is a moral panic, she was kind enough to screenshot the part that I was going to bring up. Now, first of all, totally PC culture? No, it's not. PC culture would be like telling Fain and Fat Pat to stop using the word faggot in their streams, which they use a lot, and they don't mean it to deride anybody, but they use the word faggot a lot. That would say, Fain, Fat Pat, you need to really stop saying faggot so much in your streams because that's not politically correct. That's PC culture. Not being able to say certain words or something because they're just not nice anymore. You can't say retarded anymore, okay? I don't use the word retarded, but I'm using that as an example. Some people still use it. I say, that's just stupid. But some people say retarded. Oh, you're not supposed to use that because that's offensive. Okay, that's PC culture. This is not about PC culture. The okay hand sign is not about PC culture. It's about a moral panic, but I don't think Amethyst, or whatever her name is here, understands what moral panic means, so she had no idea what they're talking about, so she decides, oh no, this is totally about PC culture. Did none of you read the articles? Of course I read the articles linked. I read the article linked, I read all the articles linked, and I read the report by the ADL that referenced this new 2019 use of the OK sign as a white supremacist symbol. But she screenshotted the part that I would have read back to her had she not done it for me. Quote, and this is from the article, "It was meant to bait the media or people with liberal ideas to overreact." Trolling. I'm just translating. ADL experts say, and therefore look ridiculous for condemning such an innocuous sign. And they obliged in spades. Absolutely. But in 2019... Now, this is the writer of the article wrote these words, which is incredible to me, because then she followed up with a quote from the thing. But in 2019, the sign was adopted by some white nationalists. Oh, some white nationalists? Well, that's definitive. Some? Really? You generate a headline because some white nationalists adopted? But then further on, here's a quote from the report. At least some white supremacists seem to have abandoned the ironic or satiric intent behind the original trolling campaign. Wait a minute, hold it. There's another important word there that I kind of glazed by. At least some white supremacists seem to have abandoned the ironic or satiric intent behind the original trolling campaign and used the symbol as a sincere expression of white supremacy, the ADL posted its report. What was some seem to have? What? That's definitive. Seems like some of my Cheerios seem to have spilled on the floor. Oh, no, that's just milk. Honey, do you think that you and I will be in love forever? Well, there are some indications, and it seems like we will be. Really? I'm leaving you now. And in the report, yeah, they show, well, at least this CNN article. Do I still have it up? I do still have it up. Now, and then they put this thing about this, we have a right to exist. This is from, I think this is from Charlottesville. What's the other article? They had this. Oh yeah, oh gosh, they have the members of the far right group Proud Boys make the OK hand gesture to rally important. Wait a minute, Proud Boys? What's hilarious about that is the Proud Boys are not a white supremacist group. Now, they consider themselves nationalist in nature, but not white nationalists. But, some people don't know the distinctions. But the Proud Boys are not a white power group. Remember, this is supposed to stand for white power, right? But that wouldn't be the Proud Boys. They're not a white supremacist group. But see, people are, everyone's alt-right, so you're all the same. They also don't have a complete solid definition of alt-right. So that whole terminology, because it's changed and it's morphs and whatever, and some people use it as a very broad term, some people use it as a very narrow term. There's no interpretation. So why do you think the ADL puts this out? Well, now you can just, anytime you see that OK symbol, if you want to, if someone, hey, how are you doing? Hey, I'm doing good. Someone can take a picture of you and now say that you're doing a white supremacist hand gesture. Because now the ADL, the ultimate authority on hate in America, says so. And now anytime you see this, if you see someone in a picture doing this, oh my God, that guy's a white supremacist. He's a white nationalist. He's a I don't know. We should, Cower in fear. Make sure he doesn't have AR-15. Make sure you can red flag his ass, right? Now you can use the red flag laws. Because someone did an OK symbol. We're gonna have some. We need red flag laws for those scary black weapons. You know, those big black guns. You know, oh my god. Oh my god. It's amazing. So anyway, I am going to reply to this young lady. And so, Fain, what's funny is it's only 2 paragraphs long. It took me less than 3 minutes to read it carefully. Well, you must not have read it too carefully, so, Fain. Because if you had read it carefully, I mean really carefully, you would have realized that the ADL says at least some white supremacists seem to have abandoned this ironic and satiric intent behind the original trolling. Some seem. Oh, some seem. Well, that's there you have it. That's definitive. Right? Hey, this is P-Dog Night, and I want to thank you for joining me today on the P-Dog Night channel. Before you go, if you like what you saw and you're not already subscribed, please make sure that you hit the subscribe button down below, and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, and 2 p.m. GMT. A special thanks to all supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through our Streamlabs link in the description below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P-Dog Knight, and I'm out of here.